God, I have so many books to talk about and my battery is at 39%. So if I have an outfit change, you'll know why. Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing all of my 5-star reads for the first quarter of 2022. Normally I do monthly wrap-ups. I have not decided, I have decided not to do that this year and have replaced it with weekly reading vlogs because I read so much anyway, so you might as well see me reading in real time. However, I did want to show you my 5-star reads of the first 3 months of 2022 because I recommend these books to everyone. I think they are all excellent. I will tell you, oh God, why I gave I'll tell you why I gave them 5 stars and why I recommend them. So this video isn't super long and I just dropped my books. Let's get into it. I'm gonna go from what I read in January up until March 31st. So let me go get these books that have fallen. Struggling. Okay, so I can tell you that this first book is 4 stars on Goodreads, and I'm gonna change it right now. But that's Written in the Stars by Alexandra Bellafleur. This is a grumpy sunshine fake dating in Seattle romance. The reason I gave it 4 stars is because I think some of the writing is cheesy in the way that Alexandra said how many times these characters blush. That just like took me out of the story in particular, but I'll get over it and I'm gonna bump this up to 5 stars. Absolutely love this one. If you love grumpy sunshine, if you love fake dating, if you love happy queers, this is the book for you. They're so precious. Elle and Darcy, just I can't even tell you how good this is. This is the first book I read for 2022 and it put me on the track for such a good year. Like I'm having such a good reading year. So absolutely 100% think this one is great. So please read it. Okay, the next one, and this is, I'm gonna say this 2 times probably, but this is gonna be on my best books of the year video. And this is the 3rd book I read. This was, so I got this out from the library. Support your local library. I got this out from the library because I did not like the audiobook narrator. The author actually narrates her own book. Unfortunately, I did not like it. So I stopped it literally 1% in and was like, absolutely not. I'm gonna get this out from my library. And I did. And then I gave it 5 stars that I bought it. So that is The Idea of You by Robin Lee. Listen, this is a Harry Styles fan fiction. Get that out of your brain if you don't like Harry Styles, but you should like Harry Styles anyway, so represent. This is a Harry Styles fan fiction. It's a age gap romance. People disagree that it's not a romance because of the ending. However, I think the ending is super realistic and I really liked it because of the ending, and I really like this one. It was like, I don't know how to pronounce the main character's name. It's like Selene. It's French. She is very posh, and like at first I was like, ooh, I don't like this. Loved it. Absolutely love this book. It's so good. I understand it's not going to be for everyone, and there are people who absolutely hate it because it's a Harry Styles romance, and I'm the first one to say that After is garbage, and the way that the author represents Harry, or whatever his name is in the book, I can't remember, garbage representation of Harry Styles. This one's really good. Hayes is a good guy in this book. It's a good book. Listen, it's a good book. And this can be lumped into all of these books, but this is the one that I read this year because it came out this year, and that's Heartstopper Volume 4. I have given all of the Heartstopper graphic novels 5 stars. This one is the one that came out this year, so this is why it's included in 2022. This is definitely the heaviest of them all. 3 gets heavy, this is even heavier. I'm super excited for the Netflix show. I don't really watch TV, but I think I'll actually sit down and watch this one. I just think it got heavy in like a good way, and it's good representation of mental health, which is always what I'm looking for. I don't want shitty representation, and this is not shitty. The next 5-star read is something that is not out yet, so I don't own it. But that is Home Field Advantage by Dahlia Adler. This is cheerleader quarterback, but the quarterback is a female lesbian. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. There are scenes of like female masturbation, which I am here for. There were scenes of homophobia and pushback. It was so good. It was so good. It also had like a little bit of religious representation, which I don't really like to read about religion, but it pushed back against homophobia. So I really like this one. I believe it comes out in June for Pride Month, which totally makes sense. If you can pre-order this, absolutely do it. I love Dahlia Adler. One of her other books is in this pile. And she has 2 more books coming out, one in 2023 and one in 2024. And I am absolutely on the lookout for them. I think her writing is so good, and they're almost always queer. So that's what I want. The next, okay, this is the second one where I think this is my favorite of the year. Like, they are very tied. And that is The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochran. Listen. My best friend Erica was like, bitch, you have got to read this. And I was like, whatever, dude, whatever, I'll get to it eventually. I finally got to it. Amazing. This is a take on The Bachelor, which I have never seen, but it's gay. So the main character, Charlie, falls in love with the producer, like his producer, Dev. It is so soft. It's so soft. Also, the best mental health representation I have ever read. I'm not kidding. Better than Heartstopper, better than like the YA novels I have read. This is the best depression representation I've ever read. The way that Dev described depression is exactly how I feel when I'm depressed. And I was just like, how are you in my brain, Alison Cochran? Amazing. So for best of the year, it's definitely tied between The Charm Offensive and The Idea of You, and like they could not be any more different. They are such different books, but I love them both equally. They are just so good. Okay, the next book, gotta find it. Oh, it's right here. Okay, the next book is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I can't even tell you what it's like to read a book about a pandemic. During a pandemic, I tried to read The Stand. I read this whole thing because it's much shorter than The Stand, right? So in this book, there is a flu that, I think it's the Georgia flu, that kills 99.9% of the population. So we are it's very character driven, and we are following these characters who have survived the Georgia flu. Love this one. I listened to the audiobook. It is amazing. It's such a good audiobook. I am actually meeting this author at the end of this month for her new book, The Sea of Tranquility. So excited. This is not my normal read, I think. I'm definitely getting more into adult, but this is obviously adult fiction. I'm more into adult romance now, but blew me away. It is so weird reading about a pandemic when you're in a pandemic though. Like, that's the only thing, but absolutely love this one. So good. So the next book on my list is Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler. I told you she was coming back. This is a retelling of Grease, and it's so short. I got through it in one night on audio. Amazing. I wish I had read something like this in high school or college, to be honest with you, but the writing was so easy. I loved who she ended up with, and I just think it is good. If you're looking for something like light and fluffy, definitely read it during the summer, as summer is in the title, but it's just like good by representation, and I just thought it was realistic, which is what I like. It's a nice, easy YA. Okay, the next one on my list is Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway. I read this for the Alphabet Project E, so I will put that up above. I absolutely love this one. I think it was the first book that I read for E, but basically the premise of this book is Emmy and Oliver are best friends when they're like 7, and then Oliver is kidnapped by his father and not seen for 10 years. 10 years later, he is found, comes back, and they kind of like pick up where they left off, and it's a romance, and I thought it was cute, okay? Is it realistic that they get together so fast after he's been through this trauma? Absolutely not. Did I still fall for it? Yes. This is a good one. If you're, once again, if you're looking for something cute and fluffy, this is it. Going in a completely different direction, not cute and fluffy at all, is Everything Beautiful Is Not Ruined by Danielle Young Ullman. This was also for the Alphabet Project E. This is rough. There's several trigger warnings for this one that I always go into books blind, and then I'm like, wow, that was stupid. So this one is trigger warnings for sexual assault and suicide. I don't want to give the whole book away, but when I got to the ending, blown away. God, this was so good. So it goes through her life, when it goes through like her whole life from like 7 to 18. Ooh, blew me away. So heavy, not like Emmy and Oliver at all. So, but both 5 stars. The next one is Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chismar. He is actually a co-author with Stephen King, so it totally makes sense that I really like this book. I suggest going into this book blind, because when you get to the ending, you're going to be blown away, and that's what you want. So this takes place in a suburb of Maryland that I am familiar with. So for me personally, I was like, this is fucking cool, like I know this area. So but then you get to the ending, I can't tell you anything, but it's so good. Immediate 5 stars when I ended. So good. I listened to the audiobook, but I hear that the physical book has pictures in it, so I need to get the physical book, is what I'm selling. Okay, the next one, oh, my books are in order now. Okay, good. The next one is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a reread. The first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars. This time when I read it, I gave it 5 stars. I knew exactly what was going to happen in this one. I knew who she was going to choose. I knew everything about it, and it made me more stressed out than the first time I read it. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's historical fiction books. Beautiful. Evelyn Hugo, a masterpiece. However, her backlist adult romance is just as good, if not better, than her historical fiction, and I would like people to go and read them and appreciate them more. This is a masterpiece. That's all I'm saying. Okay, the next one is a repeat author, and that is Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandra Bellefleur. I skipped Hang the Moon because it is the main character is still queer, but it's a male female, and it was fine, but this is another female, so I just like that more. This is a second chance romance. This is 5 stars. This was so good. This was, I would say, the spiciest of the 3, so if you are looking for that in your adult romance, I suggest this one. Thank you. That's it. Next is something I don't own, but I just bought, and that is Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. We are going back in time to vampires. I reread this on audio. Still so good. I own all of them now. They are on their way to me from Pango. Absolutely love this one. So good. So Rose and Dimitri and Adrian are still in this one, but it's from the perspective of Sydney, who is an alchemist. So I have only made it to book 2 of this one, I think 2 or 3, but I have plans on reading the entire series again, so love that for me. The next one is also a reread, and that is Tokyo Ever After by Amiko Jean. I love this one. We read it for book club for February, I think. I read it last year and gave it 5 stars, and I read it this year and gave it 5 stars. I have read the sequel. I got an arc of that, and I gave it 4 stars. I just don't think it was as wholesome as Tokyo Ever After. I still absolutely
recommend it, just not as much as Tokyo Ever After. I think, I think Izumi in this one is just so funny, and I just loved her in this one. So absolutely recommend this one if you're looking for a cute Princess Diary meets What a Girl Wants. Amazing. The next one is one I also don't own yet, and that's How Moon Fuentes Fell in Love with the Universe by Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. I was recommended to this by my friend Hope. Blew me away. The audiobook, so good. So she's a twin. The relationship between her and her twin it was so remarkable. I only have one slight with it at the end that I wish like the sisters wouldn't have made up. That would have made my heart sing and have been realistic for me. Also, the mother in this relationship, so abusive. I wish we could have more YA with healthy relationships with parents, because I think that is important as well. So that is my only gripe. Goodbye. The next one is Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. I read this for the Alphabet Project F. Alphabet Project F was amazing. You're gonna see like 4 books starting with F starting right now. This is about a girl with HIV, and she is being blackmailed, first of all, and being discriminated upon because of her having HIV that she has no control over, and she falls in love with a boy, and I just thought it was very good. Also, there's a lot of theater elements in this one that took me back to high school and made me cringe personally, but I thought the theater aspect was really good. Next, also in The First to Know, in F is The First to Know by Abigail Johnson. This is about her dad, mostly, who was adopted, and then we find out that she has a stepbrother, and it is rough. I thought it was actually realistic, and I really, really like this one. The writing was so good, and I have decided to read more from Abigail Johnson because I love this book so much. I don't even think this is her debut. I think this is like somewhere in the middle, but I love Abigail Johnson. Really like hard-hitting contemporary, which I love. Next is Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. I am an Emma Mills stan. I have loved everything I've read by Emma Mills. I think I own all of her books now, which is what I want. This was just a cute, light YA contemporary romance, which is always what I'm looking for. I wish it were a little bit more sex positive, but the main character, the main couple, I guess, were female. The only gripe I have is that in the very beginning of the book they break up, but that's okay, we'll get over it. And last from F is Fresh by Margot Wood. Absolutely love this one. The audiobook was by far the best audiobook I have listened to this entire year. It was so fucking funny. I can just tell that the audiobook narrator like talked just how Margot wrote it. It was so funny. Like, I'm driving to Target listening to this, fucking cracking up. This was so good, and it takes place in college, and it's female. So that's all. My camera is going to die. Next is one that I wish I could recommend to everyone, but I actually don't know who I recommend it to. You have to be in the right headspace to listen to this one, or read it or listen to it. The audiobook was amazing. And that's The Push by Ashley Audrain. Listen, I have 2 kids. They're both really small. I was not the target audience for this book. Loved it anyway. Will it give me nightmares forever? Yes. Will I remember it forever? Yes. Will I ever get over it? No. This is a thriller, horror, not a mystery, thriller horror. If you have small kids, I would not listen to this. If you plan to have children, don't listen to it. If you are sad, don't listen to it. However, I still recommend it. This was like this was one of the best books I read, and it's completely different from The Idea of You and The Charm Offensive, but I absolutely loved it. My camera's gonna die. Next is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I listened to a lot of their books last year and didn't like a lot of them, and a lot of people were on the same page. I just don't think they were having like a good time with their books. Then I picked up the Soulmate Equation. I'm like giggling. It's fake dating. It has to do with science, which I like didn't boggle down the book for me, but I absolutely love this one. I thought it was so cute. I listened to it and then I had to buy it because it was that good, and I just feel like this is a book I would come back and read over and over and over again. The next one is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This was like my first venture into dark romance and also mafia romance. Absolutely love this one. Basically, the main character is like, she's told that she has to get married to the rival family, and it's enemies to lovers, and they somehow make it work. And like, there was plot, and there was sex, and there was plot, which is what I want. I want the sex, and I want the plot, and I want them both, and this gave it to me. I haven't read any more of the series. I have them all on my wish list. I have them all bought. I have them. I just have to get to them, but absolutely love this one. The next one is an arc that I'm so glad that I got, and that is Rivals by Catherine McGee. This is American Royals 3. American Royals was supposed to be a duology, and then now it's a series. So this is the third one. This, in my opinion, is the best one. Wait until you get the end to this fucking book. Wait until you get to the end of this fucking book. Ooh! That's all. I can't tell you anything else. The next one is Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. This is the first time that I read a romance where one of the main characters was non-binary. Amazing. I love this one. I understand that not a lot of people love this one because it's a little slow, but I really love the cooking show setting because I really like cooking shows, and I just liked these two characters a lot. And that's just me. I understand where people are coming from in their critiques. I don't really have any critiques in this one. It just made me happy. It made me happy to read a non-binary main character. It made me happy to read a bi main character. It made me happy, and that's all I care about. The next one is also an arc, and I don't know when it's going to be released in the United States, and that is Idol by Louise O'Neill. I buddy read this with my friend Aoife, and I will put her channel down below. Love this one. This is like an influencer that reminded me a lot of Rachel Hollis, and she is wrapped up in the sexual assault allegations of her former best friend who is a woman, and the ending. I pre-ordered this on Book Depository, so I don't know when I'm gonna get it, but I am going to get it. I hope it is coming out in the US soon. It takes place in New York, even though the author is Irish. So I just really like this one. It's so good. It's so good. The next one is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I went into this thinking this was going to be a light and fluffy romance. Absolutely not. No, there are so many trigger warnings. The biggest trigger warning that I can think of is self-harm. It was a lot. It was in detail. It was like, I need that trigger warning. So however, I loved it a lot. I loved the ending. I loved how real it was. I love the main characters. I love that like these main characters were authors. I always like books about books and books about authors. So I immediately gave this 5 stars. You need that trigger warning though. You need that trigger warning for self-harm because it is a lot. The next book on my list is My Brother's Husband Volume 1 by Jengoro Tagim. This was so soft. I think my only thing that says in my review is so soft. It's so soft. I have the second one on my counter. I got it from the library because the graphic novel is so expensive. I will one day like to own this one, but this was so soft. I am so excited to get into the second one. I think there's only 2. I might be wrong. Let me know. My next one is one that I buddy read with my friend Christina from Northwest Reader, and that is The Mother-in-Law by Kirsten Moglin. Creepy. The audiobook, so fucking creepy. The ending, she's like saying something on repeat. I'll never get it out of my head. I can hear it right now looking at this camera. So fucking creepy. I don't read, I'm getting into thrillers a lot more, and this was a very good one. It had me on the edge of my seat. I had this theory, and then I was like, oh, I'm wrong. And then I was right. Like, the author got me. The author got me so good. So good. Okay, the next one is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. God. I listen to audiobooks at 3 times speed. This took me 5 days. Normally, a book, a day and a half. 5 days. Still liked it. My initial review was 4 stars, then I changed it to 4.5. It's a 5-star book. This is super, super, super character driven. If you don't like character driven novels, you're gonna hate this. I get why it's won so many awards. I don't get why it's been turned into a movie. I'll maybe watch it one day, but it is going to be such a boring movie, and I haven't seen the reviews of it, but I would assume people were bored because there's no action until like 93%, and then it's all action. And the rest of the novel, completely character driven. I was enamored. I loved it. Okay, I only have 3 more books to talk about. I'm at 11%. Okay, the next book on my list is One to Watch by, oh no, Kate Stayman London. I was supposed to buddy read this with my book club. Like, they all read it without me. It's because I was super pregnant. I wasn't reading anything. Thanks, Theo. So I finally got this because I'm into adult romance now. I absolutely fucking love this. The commentary on women's bodies, written by a woman, immaculate. This is another like Bachelor type TV show setting. I haven't seen The Bachelor, but apparently I love reading about The Bachelor. I just thought this was so good. This is a character who is fat, and she like kind of destroys the premise of the show, how they're all like models, and then she gets picked to go on the show. And I absolutely loved it. I haven't hauled this yet because I just got it, but I got a signed edition from Pango. I cannot wait to read this. I listened to it, but a lot of the book is mixed media, and I can see like the mixed media part. And last time I was just listening to it. So I'm so excited to have this. I'm so excited to have this. I love this book. I haven't hauled it yet, so that's that. 2 more. The next one on my list is Flock by Kate Stewart. I asked my friend Sarah from Sarah Shelves which book I should read. She's like, I want you to read Flock, but I don't think you'll like it. And I was like, well, I own it, so I'll give it a chance. I did not like it. I did not like it for like 70%. And then something happens, and then you're just in it, and you can't look away. And honestly, I'm not even kidding. There's no plot until 90%. You're in 90% of the audiobook. And then there's a shit ton of plot. So I love this one. I am starting Exodus tonight. So by the time this goes out, I should be done Exodus. I'm so excited. I heard Exodus is crazy. I'm so excited. And then last but not least is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This is my first Lucy Foley. I buddy read this with my friend Heather from Bell's Library. I can't even tell you how much I love this. I don't really read books physically anymore. I read this in 3 days. So that was like 100 pages a day. I seriously couldn't put it down. She's still reading it. I suck at buddy reading because I just go so fast. I read really fast, and I could not stop reading this book. I know a lot of people don't like it. They said it was boring. I don't get it. I don't get it. I was in it. I was in it from the beginning. I told my husband he needed to read it. I started to tell him what it's about. He was like, don't tell me what it's about. And I was like, okay. So I went in completely blind. I loved it. There was only one twist that I figured out. But there's like 5 twists in this book, and the rest of them I didn't figure out at all. So I like this one. So that's it. There's a lot of books. I'll put how many 5-star reads I had in the first 3 months of the year, but it's a lot. And I love talking about these books. And I absolutely 100% recommend all these books to everyone. Maybe not The Push. I still love The Push though. I loved The Push, but you have to be a certain person to read it. I don't know. I don't want to traumatize you. That's it. So that's it. I really love making this book. I really love making this video. I'll probably make this video every quarter because I just love talking about books that I love. So thanks for watching my video. See you in my next one. Bye.